So I have before me the Lenovo Legion 5i Pro and the Lenovo Legion Slim 7. Two fantastic laptops with great performance and great build quality, but which one is right for you? We're going to dive into the usability, the features, the functionality, and performance all in this video. First and foremost, you can see the specs coming up on the screen, and we have quite a difference in specifications, but as you'll see later in the performance benchmarks, they both get similar results. So make sure you stay tuned so you don't miss out on that. Now, first and foremost, the build quality is very similar as far as the materials are used. We have aluminum top covers, keyboard decks, side panels, and bottom covers. However, you're going to see a bit more of like the plastic finishings on the 5i Pro. You're going to have this big chunky vent along the back here. You're going to have these side vents that are plastic here, and you don't really see that on the Legion Slim 7. You do have a bit of plastic here on the top where the light shines through for the specific indicators for the ports and the power adapter, but otherwise you have a lot of aluminum on this chassis. I really like the look and feel. To me, it's more of a professional vibe. It's very nice brushed aluminum that wraps the entire chassis here. Back panels, side panels, and the front panel, and I just love the look and feel of it. I know I'm a big fanboy of the Slim 7. Last year I mentioned that I was. This year it is no different. I love the performance of the Legion 5i Pro. I think it is the best performing laptop for the price of the year. However, I would pay a little bit more personally for a slimmer, lighter package. And so that's just really, again, a preference of mine. As you can see, I'll pull up the weight and thickness on the screen for you so you can see kind of the comparable differences. And then let's go ahead and jump into the ports. As you can see on the back panel of these two laptops, we have two USB Type A's, our power adapter, HDMI, but on the Lenovo Legion 5i Pro, we have a USB Type-C and a network port. As we look at the left side panel of each laptop, you can see we have two USB Type-C's and some nice vents. And then on the left side panel, we have the SD card slot for the Slim 7, but we don't have an SD card slot for the 5i Pro. We have a USB Type-A. And of course, they both have headphone jacks and manual cutoff switches for the webcam. So in my opinion, this Slim 7 is the more suitable creator laptop with the full-size SD card slot and more thin and light on-the-go vibes. Now, speaking of on-the-go friendly, it is also the one with the better battery life by about an hour per test, give or take a few minutes. As you can see, the battery life results coming up on the screen now. The Ryzen processor inside of the Slim 7 is more efficient than the Intel processor inside of the 5i Pro. They both come with a Lenovo Vantage Center, so the customization is very, very, very similar, if not exactly the same, for the Lenovo Vantage Center in order to get these battery life results. So if I were going to be an on-the-go creator, I would lean towards the Slim 7. Now let's take a look at the screens. They both have 16-inch 16:10 aspect ratio screens, both with similar brightness and color gamut ranges. However, the Slim 7 has slightly better color gamut range than the 5i Pro. You can see the results coming up on the screen right now for each of them, and they are great performers in this category, great screen real estate. I really dig both of them. Can't go wrong with either one. As you can see, both screens have slightly different hinge configurations. You have two hinges on the 5i Pro and a singular long hinge that connects on either side for the Slim 7. Now, really, tomato, they're both good configurations. They're just slightly different. Now, here's a quick sample of the webcam for you so you can see how each of those looks and sounds from each of the laptops. This is the camera on the Legion 5i Pro and a little audio sample for you as well. When I back up a little bit, it kind of mellows out. When I get really close, I'm really close to my light. So the camera actually looks pretty good, especially for that 720p webcam. This is the webcam on the Lenovo Legion Slim 7 and a little sample of the audio for you as well. And in regards to the speakers, here's a quick audio sample of each of the speakers on the laptops as well. Now the keyboards are identical. I mean, it's just, they're the exact same. They're the same key press, they're the same size, a nice medium key press. I really like them. They're very satisfying. They're very comfortable, easy to use. You got a full-size shift key, full-size arrow keys, and of course the numpads on the right side. Now they both have the same trackpads as well. You can see that the Slim 7 has it a little bit further down. It's kind of more nestled towards the edge of the computer, whereas there's a little more spacing here on the 5i Pro. Both have nice clicks, good, kind of a bit of a clicky sound, but not too loud. Here's a quick audio sample for you of me using both keyboards and trackpads on each of the laptops. Now, as far as the thermal temperatures are concerned, the 5i Pro is still the winner with that Intel processor. Historically, that's been the case, and it still is here. However, the Ryzen processor does not get as hot as it has historically in the past. We're seeing a max of 82 degrees Celsius from the Ryzen 9 6900HX. So both thermals are great on these laptops, which makes it even a closer battle between the two. And hopefully we can sum things up in the performance section. Now, before we get into the performance benchmarks, let's talk about something that is extremely important. So Lenovo sent over these 3 Lenovo Legion 5 Pros, and as soon as we hit 100,000 subscribers, we're gonna kick off a giveaway to celebrate passing the 100,000 subscriber mark. The faster we get there, the sooner the giveaway is coming your way. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, share this video, and drop a comment of how you would use a Lenovo Legion 5 Pro. Now, jumping into Geekbench single core and multi-core, you can see that the 5i Pro barely edges out the Slim 7 in both Geekbench single core and multi-core. Now, as we get into Cinebench R20, the spread increases by about 1,000 points. And as we move into R23 single core, you can see it's about a 200-point lead for the 5i Pro. And then for Cinebench R23 multi-core, we're at about a 4,000-point lead. Okay, so right now, things are looking up and up for the 5i Pro. But let's go ahead and get into the real world benchmarks and see what kind of conversation we'll be having after we get through some of these tests. Now, the first one to look at is Blender, and Blender really showing off for the Ryzen processors. As you can see, we have a 789 for the Slim 7 and a 637 for the 5i Pro. So as far as Blender is concerned, the Slim 7 would be a better choice. What about 3D modeling? Looking at 3D modeling, you can see that they're neck and neck with a 204 from the Slim 7 and a 200 from the 5i Pro. Moving on to Autodesk Maya, this is where we see a quick turnaround towards the Legion 5i Pro with a 289 versus the 238 from the Slim 7. So about a 50-point difference between those two. Not insane, but definitely a substantial increase in performance if you're going to be a Maya user for the 5i Pro. Now, looking at PTC Creo, that's where we see another quick turnaround to the Slim 7, but it's only a 10-point difference. So to me, it's not enough of a difference to say, well, if you're PTC, you better use, the Slim 7. I think they both would be great contenders. However, as we move into SolidWorks, this is where one of the big spreads starts to occur. You can see a 99 point for the SolidWorks 5i Pro versus the 160 for the Slim 7. So a 60-point difference. I think that's quite a bit of an increase there. Just like with the Autodesk Maya results, it could make a difference to you, but it's not anything insane, but it definitely is a bump in performance. And I've seen these RX GPUs performing better than the NVIDIA gaming GPUs, specifically in SolidWorks. Now, looking at Photoshop, you can see we're scoring a 970 versus the Slim 7 with a 927. That is a very minimal difference. I think anything over a 700 in Photoshop is great for digital artists, graphic designers, or photographers, so really no questions there. To me, having the full-size SD card slot on the laptop is way more important than you know, a 30, 40 point difference between those two laptops. Now looking at After Effects, you can see that we have a 907 versus a 798, so about 100 point difference. That could make a bit of a difference as far as the smoothness of the program while using it. So if you're a big After Effects user, you will have a benefit by choosing the Lenovo Legion 5i Pro. Now, keep in mind, before we move on to video editing, that the Lenovo Legion Slim 7, you can upgrade one of the RAM sticks, whereas in the Lenovo Legion 5i Pro, you can upgrade both of the RAM sticks. So you're going to have more ability to upgrade the RAM inside of the 5i Pro than you will the Slim 7. Now, that could be advantageous to you, could be something that really sets it apart, so keep in mind of that difference between these two. Now moving on to video editing, as you can see in the Premiere Pro Playback, we have 4K, 6K B-raw, and 6K red footage for each of these laptops. A 788 on the drop frames for 6K B-raw out of the Slim 7 versus the 339 out of the 5i Pro. Red footage, they're both not great. They're both good, but not great. Okay, let me explain. Last year, we were seeing laptops drop anywhere from 8,000 to 12,000 frames for red footage. This year, we're seeing laptops anywhere from around the 1,000 up to the 4,000. So this is kind of on the upper end of this year's laptops in regards to drop frames for red footage. These laptops are good, but I would not recommend them like die-hard red footage for this year's laptops. Compared to last year's laptops, I'd recommend them all day long. So I hope that just helps you understand the comparison between these two. They're getting better for red footage, but they're still not absolutely stellar. Take that for what it is. If you're going to be using either of these laptops for 4K video editing, you're going to have no issues. As you can see, 0 drop frames. And as we get into the 4K export, I would recommend the Lenovo Legion 5i Pro. It's a 2-minute and 30-second export time compared to the 3-minute and 9 seconds. So about a 30-second improvement on the export time. That definitely will make a difference as you continue to maybe have longer projects. This is simply a 9-minute 4K clip exported out of Premiere Pro. But let's say you have 20, 30, 40, an hour-long project. That will make a difference for your export times and maybe cut down on some of that efficiency and productivity. Now, as far as the 6K export time is concerned, this again, you're gonna have better export times out of the 5i Pro. You have a 14-minute and 43-second export time versus the 17-minute and 53-second export time out of the Slim 7. Moving on to DaVinci Resolve pretty much neck and neck, 556 in the 5i Pro versus 631 in the Slim 7. Punch for punch, which one should you choose? And by far, the most important thing you can do right now in this video in making your decision is subscribe. To help us get to 100,000 subscribers, of course. Okay, in all seriousness, the Slim 7 would be personally my pick. There was not a substantial enough difference in the performance for me to miss out on all the features that I enjoy about the Slim 7. I like the SD card slot. I like the battery life is slightly better. I like the slim chassis. I like the look and feel of it. I don't need all this performance. Personally, I won't be editing 6K. I would most likely edit 4K on the go on the Slim 7. I'm gonna be doing thumbnail edits. I'm gonna be doing business work. And for me, the Slim 7 looks more to my taste and is more efficient and just performs what I need. However, if you're gonna be somebody who's doing 6K video editing, if you're somebody who's gonna be working in Autodesk Maya and that extra bump in performance would mean something to you, then this laptop here, the 5i Pro, would be great. Also, the upgrade path. You can't beat the upgrade path on the 5i Pro. Both RAM sticks are upgradable, and that really allows you to have less ceiling when moving forward. Punch for punch, best performing laptop of the year and for the price would be the 5i Pro, in my opinion. Punch for punch, this is one of my favorite thin and light laptops with still incredible performance. Really, the choice is yours. Links in the description if you're ready to make a purchase. Likes if this video has brought you some value. And subs to get us to 100,000 subscribers by Christmas. I'll see you here in the next one.